So I got a weird video for you, just a quick unboxing of what is only an $8 multi-tool. Why would I have spent my money on this? Well, interestingly, I was looking very carefully, and not just this, but all of these variants while I was walking through Cabela's. And what I was surprised to find is that the implements themselves looked very, very well formed. Now, I don't have a lot of expectations. I don't know how good this is going to end up being. But when it's under 4 ounces and it's less than $10 and potentially could have a decent scissor and or a decent screwdriver, I mean, at the very least, we got to know. I mean, is this any good? Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so here we go. Let's open it out of clamshell packaging, and today we are going to use the Miguron. So I just got this from a friend, and I can tell you right now, this is probably what might be the best knife under $50 that you could buy. We're going to talk about this probably in tomorrow's video, but let's go ahead and get to it. So one of the things I noticed people do with opening these packages is that they try to cut into this part of the package, and that can both damage the tip and also slip through, and there's a lot of bad things that can happen. If you actually press down, you can just pop the whole thing open and just, there you go, boom, and just grab the component. Just a little something, like, just because you don't have a utility knife doesn't mean you can't do something a little bit safer. So let's get this open. And it does have a little pouch, but we're going to ignore that because we're not going to use a pouch anyway. So we got this little setup. And a couple things I noticed right off the bat. Number one is that because these tools were on the inside, I knew that when it was closed, they would be outside accessible without having to open the tool. That's neat. I don't know much else about it. So let's just go ahead and close it up and go from there. So form factor is weird, I'm not gonna lie. It's a strange look. But here's what they did about this, and I can tell already, which is quite cool, is because the frame dips like this, you have all of this exposure for easy access. Now, I'm not using my nails, I'm just pressing down on it, and I'm getting access to a saw. Why is there a saw in something this small? I have no idea, because, you know, length really matters when it comes to saws, although this actually is not horrible. Okay, now let's go over to the main blade, which the nice thing is because it's so exposed, I don't need to actually use the nails, which is awesome. And I like the shape. I like the shape of this. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a box cutter. Okay, I can dig that. Now, we should not expect much when it comes to steel quality. This is going to be probably generic stainless steel. But this is one of the tools that I really wanted to take a closer look at. This is probably better, well, I know it's better than many budget multi-tools in the $25 range. And even some of the Leathermans aren't as well formed in the two-dimensional form. See how they're actually cut in nicely like this? A lot of them aren't this nice. And usually they have... Okay, so if they're bad, it's usually quite obvious. The metal is flexible and this one is not. So that's a very good sign. The lockup isn't great, but it's plenty good enough, and I can get my fingers behind it. And I wonder, can I do this trick? And the answer is yes. I can kind of manipulate it with 2 hands. So that works. That's cool. And then the flathead is really nice and hefty too. I mean, did they dial in the heat treatment okay? I mean, we'd have to test this, right? I mean, at $8, we could probably destroy it, but so far so good. Now here's the real question. Here's the question. We're not going to open up the bottle opener, but this scissors, separate spring, right? You saw me open this tool, right? Let's go ahead and put it up against some gauntlet items. What do you think? Okay, we got a piece of Kevlar and thing. Get the couple of things. Here, we'll get this out of here. This out of here. All right, that should be good enough for now. So, how's it going to perform? I mean, what did I expect? It definitely doesn't cut that. Okay, so you wouldn't have gotten any points for that one. Can it do the fabric? The jersey knit? Nope. That's a no. So scissors. Oh wait, no wait. I didn't put enough pressure sideways on it. You got to put lateral pressure clearly. It is, I would consider like a 1, almost a 2. Can it do the Kevlar? Especially if I'm putting, when I say pressure, I mean I'm pushing this way into the blade. So let's just test it against the Kevlar. Okay, well, it's not going to win any awards for the scissors test, that's for sure. Can it do the ribbon? Let's do the ribbon. There's got to be a piece of ribbon here we can borrow. Okay, so let's take a look, see if we can do it. It's not ideal. I mean, it does work. It's just not the sharpest scissors ever. Here's what I'm wondering. Okay, so as it sits, it's not great. And I can tell you right now, well, it does feel relatively sharp. Okay, so is it salvageable? Salvageable. Probably. Here, let's try a piece of thread. Could it at least cut the thread? That's the first one on the... Oop. I mean, it gets a 2 on that. You can cut through that. Could cut through that. I mean, is it salvageable? Could you cut something when needed up close to the skin? Maybe. I mean, it's not bad. That's the real question. And at $8, very interesting. Now, the next thing we want to talk about is this plier. How is the plier? What I like about this is actually a little bit more hefty than you'll find in the Style PS, but you know, I'm feeling a lot of flex. A whole lot of flex. Look at that. Woo. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Can I break it with my hand strength? That'd be crazy, right? Well, I'm feeling a little bit of a flex, but it's also springing back on me, so I don't know. I think it's good enough for a lot of tasks. How does it look this way? A little bit of movement. Spring-loaded. The spring has been the back, which actually, this is the way I like spring-load pliers to be, by the way, with the spring in the back, because it can be replaced and it doesn't affect as much of the strength of the tool. I mean, you know, honestly, for, what is it, $7, $8? It's not half bad. I gotta say, it's not half bad. The funny, you see how much spacers are in there though? Not only could they have fit more tools in there, I would have much rather them not do that and simply made this narrower in some way. If they could have done that, that would be excellent. Like the saw, we don't need the saw. That makes no sense. I mean, really, it really doesn't. And it looks like you could move the flathead over and not impact the pliers because it doesn't need that extra length. You need it for the blade. So you could shrink this side down, move out the spacers, and cut it in half, essentially removing that additional thickness here. I mean, just making it lighter and even more compact. So it's at 3.8 ounces. I mean, let's get it to 3.5 and let's get it even narrower. This is actually a size range of multi-tool that's actually more practical than people realize. A lot of times people take a multi-tool and they try to do something crazy with it when they really needed to go pick up a real pair of pliers to go at it. And when you have these small compact variants, people are less likely to abuse them incorrectly. You know, I don't know if that's such a thing, abusing incorrectly. Anyway, they're less likely to abuse the tool, and they're going to use it the way it was probably meant to be used. I don't know. These are pretty reasonable for $8? So if you're at Cabela's, hey, you know, you need something inexpensive or maybe a first-time multi-tool for a kid. The only thing I don't like about that aspect of it is that the blade itself doesn't lock. Oh, that's the wrong one. But I like the fact that this kind of cuts down, so you have exposure for getting access. You can almost, can I do it? I mean, I can actually open this one-handed. That's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. One-handed opening. Yeah, definitely. One-handed closing. Very cool. I mean, what did I expect, right? I mean, it had those scissors. I gotta say though, if those scissors had been good, like actually good, we would be having a completely different discussion right now. As it is, I think it's fine. If you wanted to just something to throw in a bag, or you wanted to get somebody introduced to it, or you had a stocking stuffer, I think for, what is it, $8, this is decent. And I mean really decent. I think the thing that impresses me the most is probably that Phillips, the fact that it's actually cut. Now, as far as bottle openers are concerned, the interesting thing about it is this is shaped like a combo tool for opening cans and bottles. But it doesn't have the hook cut in to allow it to latch onto a can. I don't understand why they didn't do that. It seems like a very easy thing. I just have to shape this a little bit different on the inside, and all of a sudden it would lock into a can, and then you'd be able to use it for that aspect and maybe make it a little sharper. So just say that's like a simple thing. This could have been a can opener as well. And I might even make that modification just for fun. This might be a fun video. But yeah, the small dinky Cabelas, reasonable. Actually a reasonable tool. And the other question is, can I salvage this scissor because it's relatively firm? There's not much play. If I reprofile this edge, would it then work? A lot of interesting questions. But anyway, this is our first look and just kind of a, I don't know, just an approximation of whether this will be good or not. I'd say pretty reasonable. For the price, I'm not sure you can get much better than that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon.